everybody. I'm Mark.
I'm Britton.
And today we're going to talk about a movie that sucked. 100% sucked. It was terrible. Let's just get on with it. Let's get this started. The movie was called The Block Island Sound.
It was a independent film, from what we could see. At least no production company would put their name on it.
Yeah, there was really no actors involved that I recognized from elsewhere. There was no talent anywhere.
It was made by the McAnus brothers.
Here's a funny thing. I did look them up to see what those McAnus boys have been up to. And apparently they've done some okay stuff. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, but they worked on Cobra Kai. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So every bad part of Cobra Kai, I'm just going to say, is probably the McAnus brothers.
That was a McAnus scene if I've ever seen one.
The scene where absolutely nothing happened and it was just all B-roll, that was the McAnus brothers.
Yeah, it's, so the movie is... Where do we begin?
All right.
It's about this doddering old dad that every once in a while will stop what he's doing and just stare at things with his mouth open. And he looks like one of those angler fish, that fish with the little dangly light at the end. Yeah, one of those things. And
actually, I thought he kind of looked like one of the characters from Guess Who. One of the big bushy beard but like bald head.
And we kept on ragging on this guy mercilessly.
Yeah, he kind of felt bad at the end. I didn't feel proud of what I was doing.
Because he was also greasy, and we said that's why all the fish were dead in the water. But anyway,
You're getting ahead of yourself. Go ahead.
Anyway, this guy Cax.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks he Mr. Magooed his way out into the middle of the ocean and fell off and drowned
in the middle of like a fugue state or a drunken state.
So he. They have a funeral, and all of a sudden, after the funeral, the son starts having the same symptoms, and meanwhile, his sisters are there, and their daughter and his niece as well, and. The movie pretty much is just...
That's it.
Yeah, about him going to the ocean and him not going to the ocean.
Like he's feeding different things to the spot in the ocean.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some spoilers here, like always.
Yeah.
I don't think you care. Don't see this movie at all. Don't even watch it on Netflix.
I'm not going to lie, I had a good time watching this movie.
Don't get me wrong, we had a good time riffing this movie, but even we had our limits.
Well, you had your limits. You hated every B-roll, B-roll scene.
Stupid. It was like they would go from one B-roll shot of the beach to another B-roll shot of a cabin to another B-roll shot of a clock, and then they do this. Then they start the scene, and it was stupid. Yeah. It was stupid.
And from what I'm seeing is that this is a popular way to transition scenes in a lot of independent films is just show a series of tenuously related B-roll shots.
It's cheap.
It is.
Yeah, it's a cheap way to fill time.
It's cheaper than actually driving the plot.
And that's kind of like the big thing, is this movie didn't really have much of a plot. It was just guy, old dad just kind of wanders around aimlessly. He sleepwalks everywhere. Then he dies. Then son sleepwalks everywhere. And then he dies. And that's the movie. That's your lot. And,
the spoiler being is that...
Oh, are you ready for this?
Yeah, it seems like he goes out into the ocean to feed whatever, and you think he's gonna drop whatever he brings into the ocean, because that's where he was initially abducted, but... No, he's on the boat, and then everything starts floating, even him, up into the sky.
Aliens. And that's the twist.
It's implied it's aliens, but we don't see Alien 1.
Yeah, we just see see people floating.
Yeah.
And so it could just be Pennywise.
It could be.
And then they just kind of drop him back in.
Or the fizzy cola from
from Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
So, like... Basically, it's heavily implied that aliens are fishing for humans.
And that's kind of the, that's kind of the writer's room moment that I got. Like, just a couple, the McAnus brothers in a in a shitty apartment. Like, what if what would happen if people were the ones being fished?
You mean like aliens fishing for people, man?
It doesn't matter. They just go up into the
fucking
sky.
Aliens. That's fucking crazy.
The guy goes and gets the dog, and he goes in his boat, and
his greasy dad's there, right?
His greasy dad.
It's greasy.
He's greasy, and he's just saying, "Dog, dog."
Oh, that's terrifying.
I know. And then he goes to the ocean and feeds the sky.
Imagine if your dad was that greasy.
That'd
be terrifying.
I know. He'd probably be angry.
Oh, come on, man. Dad wasn't that bad. So, yeah, there was a lot of problems, and I think I want to start talking about some of the things that I just didn't like about this movie, other than the obvious, which is, it was
the B-roll.
It was just boring. It was just a boring movie where nothing happened.
Yeah.
That is like the criminal sin of movies. Though I will give this movie a 1 point of credit, and I can't even give it really to their favor, but like me and Britton riffed the hell out of this movie the whole time. We never ran out of stuff to make fun of.
Oh my god! Like, if the actors were in this room while we were watching this, I would feel bad.
We would have a black eye.
Like we would have to issue an official apology afterwards
because we were just ripping on them. We were ripping on like the dumb B-roll. We were making dumb fish jokes. Like we had so many jokes in this movie that we just kept on going. But don't let that sway. It was a bad movie.
Like unless you can prep yourself for a rough situation like that, it's definitely not worth your time.
So let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about what makes this movie so bad. And I'll start with another trend that we're seeing a lot in movies, especially independent movies nowadays, which is none of the characters like each other, it seems.
Yeah.
Like I know that, for good dramatic moments you do have to establish some kind of tension between people, and sometimes characters who are at odds actually bring about good moments. I'll give you a very brief example, but and this is my geek side showing, but in the Harry Potter books, there's a character called Snape, who is my favorite character, not because of his, morality or anything like that, just because he's a dick to a 10-year-old kid, and that is just fucking hilarious to me. Like, man, this guy's a real fucking asshole, and he never changes throughout the movie or throughout the books. Like, he's always an asshole to this fucking 10-year-old kid for no fucking, for a reason, but it's a stupid reason. So anyway, in like book 5, Harry needs training to keep, the Dark Lord out of his head, and
Satan?
Well, one of them. And so
there's more than one Satan?
Yeah. There's Satan, there's Mr. Satan, there's Lucifer, there's Gary Sinise, there's lots of them.
Gary Sinise.
I don't know, I like Gary Sinise, he's a great guy.
He's an upstanding
He really is. He's like one of the best actors and people that we have in this world.
Like the man goes to POWs and I'm gonna take your family on vacation.
Yeah, he's
oh, thank you, Mr. Lucifer.
He's a real good guy, but here's the thing: Satan is mighty attractive. Don't let that tempt you. But anyway, Harry has to learn these lessons to keep, the guy out of his head.
All right.
And there's only one person who can teach him that, and it's of course Snape. And it's like, okay, they've established for 4 movies that these characters don't get along, and so it's actually a really neat moment to see these guys actually have to grit their teeth and work together and try to learn from one another.
All right.
So that's a neat example of characters not liking each other utilized well, but the difference was everybody else pretty much got along in those books.
Yeah.
It wasn't like every single character hated each other, and that in this movie, that's basically what's going on. Every character is just miserable to each other and just miserable in life, and you can't say one thing without another person having a snide comment or just being an asshole.
Like the movie started off pretty much with the main character who I don't know his name. Was it Harry?
Harry.
Yeah, it was Harry who was looked like I forget his name.
Prince Harry.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of did look a little bit like Prince Harry, and he was just a sardonic piece of shit throughout the whole movie. Like
he never changed.
Yeah,
he got worse.
Yeah, he significantly, especially when he was having even after his breakdown, like he's still like, what's the point?
Like he goes to the doctors because he's like, ugh, I didn't tell anybody that Dad was sick and having these problems.
Yeah.
It's time for me to admit that I have a problem. Go see the doctor. And the doctor like starts doing tests, and he's just an asshole to him.
Yeah, it's like, all right, this might be an interesting character arc because he's admitting he has a problem.
Like, you know, he admitted his flaw of, you know, his guilt of his dad.
Yeah,
and then he's, you know, moving on.
He's seeking help.
Yeah,
but you know, at the doctor, like, is this what you do to test crazy people? He was a brat.
He was a 10-year-old child.
Yeah, and and I agree that you know, this trend where no one likes each other is kind of unfortunate. Like there were people in the film who got along. Like there was like his third friend, not Dale the conspiracy theorist, like the other guy who didn't get a name, who was pretty much Donnie from Lebowski. And like he was happy to meet everyone.
He was happy to be in the movie.
Yeah, but like you know what, Harry didn't give him the time of day.
Like we don't even know his name. He didn't have a name.
He didn't have a name. He was just other guy.
He was friend 3.
Yep. And
like, even his friend Dale. Its movie starts off with this guy Dale talking about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And he's giving him a ride home. And he's going off, and he's basically like, "I want you to die." That's in so many words what he tells his friend. And his friend's like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah.
And even when they're like towards the end of the movie, they, you know, he starts to try to listen to this guy's conspiracy theories, thinking that they might be right. And even then, he's like an asshole to the guy. He's like, "He's a crazy man. What am I hanging out with a crazy man for?"
You know, and at this point, I'm like, you know, you might as well. This guy might as well eat him. He's not going to contribute anything to this world other than bitching.
And then, you know, he has his sisters. And his sisters, while on one hand, like, I understand where they're coming from, because if this guy was a constant asshole to me and making a mess every, you know, single waking moment of the day, like, I would be kind of addicted to him too, but...
Addicted to him.
Addicted to him too, but, she still, you know, both the sisters still come off as kind of douchey.
Like, they're douchey too, but in, like, a passive-aggressive way.
Yeah.
And, you know, they don't really help the situation at all, as much as exacerbate it.
It's pretty much just like a triangle of asshole.
It's just an entire island of assholes. It's Asshole Island.
And it's just like, there's nothing of value to me in a movie that just, you know, is just miserable. Now,
why couldn't that island have Pompeii? Or Mount Vesuvius, rather.
Let's compare this to another kind of miserable movie, but done differently, which was Hereditary. Hereditary was definitely a miserable movie.
It was a miserable movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah, and like the difference lies, I guess, in the fact that even through the misery, like it still managed to be interesting. Like, you know, you kind of felt sorry for some of these people somehow. And actually, you felt sorry for the kid.
Oh, yeah.
You felt sorry for the mom. You felt sorry for the poor dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, you felt sorry for these people, but you don't feel anything for the island of assholes.
Yeah. And it's weird because, you know, both movies are centered around tragedy. Mm-hmm. But the other one is just, you know, displays a legitimate, like, it is probably... the most accurate portrayal of loss and grief and misery, and the other one is just some bruised up old man with his fish mouth open and his asshole kids arguing.
Now, I know I bring this up a lot whenever we watch a movie of this bad caliber.
Yeah.
And I don't know what order we're going to air these episodes in, but I am just going to say it that this movie was actually worse than that the Tracker, that movie that we watched with
Dolph Lundgren.
Like,
that's tough.
Don't get me wrong. Neither of the movies were good, and this at least had a distinct advantage of at least I know what was going on.
Yeah. Well, hold on. But we we both established we didn't know what was going on in Dolph Lundgren's case. Actually, we don't really know what's going on in either movie.
Like, this movie was actually very simple because nothing was going on.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I'd say the Tracker was worse, but this was worse than the Tracker. But that's just my opinion. Now,
both movies featured doddering old men walking around and staring at things.
And both featured weird conspiracy maps.
Yeah. And that's all the connections I can make.
At least there was gunshots and explosions in the Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, there were. And
that's my bar.
No funny accents in this movie though.
And no Dolph Lundgren, and no actors in this one either.
Well, Dolph Lundgren was the only actor in the other one.
Yeah, I mean, like they couldn't even afford a Dolph Lundgren in this movie.
No.
But anyway,
they couldn't afford a little girl. They'd had to get the animatronic girl.
Yeah, from Small Wonder.
Yeah.
So, what would you do? I always ask this. What would you do to make this movie less suck? Like, what steps would you take? Because I'm actually at a loss with this one.
And it has to be the same movie?
It has to be the same movie, and you can't spend a lot of money to redo this, you know, like, it's not like you can, alright, I'd show the big alien spaceship with, you know, all-inspiring special effects. Like, they don't have that in the budget, obviously.
No, obviously. I don't know. Like,
this was, actually, I'm stumped. I have no idea how to change this movie.
Huh. Well, first of all, I would cut out a lot of the unnecessary scenes, like him, like the heart-stopping going to the store to grab ham scene.
Yeah, the big ham and cheese moment where he doesn't get ham or cheese.
And the big blow-up at the funeral because he didn't get the ham or cheese.
Yeah. There was a legitimate plot point for the ham and cheese.
There was a ham subplot in this film. And I don't think this film needed it. I think this film was complicated enough to not need the ham subplot.
Like, I'm going to say that everything that happens in this movie could have been told in the first act.
Like,
well, I guess I'm adding more to the budget, so...
Well, first off, I wouldn't get rid of the dad. Like, I would have actually...
He was actually the only part of the movie that was somewhat interesting.
Yeah, it's because you're trying to figure out what his face is. Like, there's something wrong with his face, but you also know that he doesn't look wrong.
Yeah, he's a human, I guess. But is this makeup? No.
It looks... He is in the uncanny valley. Like, he somehow climbed out, and but he's a person.
See, I think I have it. I think I have a way that might add some dimensions and some layers to this movie without really increasing the budget too much, and actually bolster their central idea and theme.
Go on.
So their idea is that the aliens are fishing for humans.
Go on. Yeah.
So, you know, let's think about what fishing is. Fishing is about, you don't berate the fish into biting the hook. You tempt them with something you want. And I think that if maybe you make it more of
the dad's in like a thong and a...
Well, you know, it doesn't have to be that, you know. It can be something good. You know, it can be like... It can be like almost like a siren song, you know, or something that the son really wants, or something that the dad really wants. Like, the movie starts off in the guy's mother's already dead. Yeah. Maybe the dad hears his wife and is going out, you know, to try to see if he can find her, and that's the bait that the aliens are using. And then they start using the dad and the mom maybe to bait the son and everything like that. I think that that doesn't really cost much to do, and it actually makes it a lot more interesting to see, you know, it doesn't just have to be dad and mom. Like, the son you can start doing some desires that the son wants. Like,
I'm gonna improve upon it once more. I'm gonna say that there's kind of an urban legend that goes around that island, that there's in that town, that there is a hidden island where all of your desires come true.
Okay.
And anyone who's gone off to search for it never comes back. And it's like one of his father's obsessions, and but his son's like skeptical because it's ruined the family name, the proud McAnus name. And
I think I have a way to improve on that just a little bit.
Okay.
We can take that idea and let's run with it. Let's, we stick some coal into this train and fucking move it forward.
Okay.
I forgot what I was gonna say. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we don't know about this island at first. We don't know what the dad's doing, but this dad's searching for something, and we know he's searching for something. It's an obsession for him, and the son doesn't know why.
Kind of like what's Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters.
Yeah, exactly. And so the dad's like, just searching, and the son doesn't know why, and eventually the dad goes missing. And then, we can do the same thing where they don't know where he is, blah, 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 and then we find a body, and it's, like, real sad. And then Dale, that conspiracy theory guy, he's the one who kind of starts pushing that theory,
Like, he unearths, like, he has his charts on the wall of, like, some Spanish named island that the conquistadors may be, found, like Los Island Muertes
of Wishes, the island of fortune or something like that. And at first, like, you can even have him mention something like tangential to that early on when he's still crazy. And then he comes back and is like, all right, what do you know about this island? Like, I found the same coordinates in Dad's, private study and everything like that. Like, he maybe goes through like some kind of records on the ship, and the dad's like, logging everywhere he's going to, looking for it. And then that's what the son, that's what the friend's talking about. He's talking about this among his many conspiracies, he's talking about this island of fortune and wishes. And now the son is becoming obsessed to try to find this island, and now the sisters are starting to get worried about him. And of course, at the end, he does find it, but it turns out to be, again, the bait for the aliens that they want to take him away if we're going to keep that same fishing for humans kind of thing.
If we're going to do that, we might as well change that something else. Because it's silly.
Aliens are stupid,
Maybe it's just a radioactive dump site.
Well, okay, let's not be let's not do that. That's kind of like, I'm thinking more of if we're gonna change things just a little bit, but we're still gonna keep that fishing idea. Because that is the central theme. Maybe it's like some great undersea beast. We don't have to go Cthulhu. That's too obvious.
The island is actually on the back of a turtle.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the back of some beast that and
that's why no one can ever really find it, because the turtle it's moving.
And eventually the dad found the pattern and was able to find it, and then of course the
turtle ate him.
The turtle lures it in with like the ideas of wishes and everything like that. And when he gets close to it, maybe you do start to see things, but that's kind of like the pheromones that the turtle's giving off.
It has some kind of noxious hallucinogenic gas.
Yeah, exactly. And it excretes it, and then when you get close, it eats it, like basically like well, not just a fishing thing, but there are types of animals or fish in the wild that kind of lure smaller animals in with with like it's kind of like I think the anglerfish.
Yeah, or and it ties in with the anglerfish.
Yeah, it's like the dad was.
Yeah, like his face.
Yeah. Again, this is something that wouldn't be very difficult. Like, you don't even have to show the turtle, really.
No.
Or if you do, you can show it from, like, far away.
Yeah, like, all you have to do is do a zoom out, and to show, like, you never really see the full island. You only see it in, like, your profile shot. But if you do it top down, it's clear that it's a turtle shell.
Yeah.
And you can do that in Photoshop.
And I'm going to go even one better, is that, like when it zooms out and you see like the guy about to get eaten by the turtle, like as it zooms out they kind of cut to a turtle in like a sink, with like a little tiny pellet that the turtle's eating.
And it snaps and eats it.
Yeah, and it's like, there you go. Like, it doesn't matter if you clearly can see it's a sink and it's got like dishes underneath the turtle.
That's what the little girl catches instead of the frog.
Yeah. Hey, hey, you know something? The McAnus brothers, they don't know how to write a fucking movie.
Yeah.
We made it better. We made it go to maybe a 4.5 on IMDb.
What was it on IMDb?
Actually, it was like a 5.0 on IMDb, which I think was a... I think that it was voted on by people who had never seen the movie. There was 2 votes, and they both were McAnus brothers, and it still only got a 5.0.
Maybe we were in the wrong state of mind.
Yeah, maybe we gotta... Maybe we gotta do, maybe we gotta drink or something like that.
A drink? I don't think drinking's enough.
Alright, shoot some smack right in my eyeball.
Right. Oh, that's right, like the crazy glue.
Yeah, guys put crazy glue in his eyeball. That didn't happen, but you know.
It looked like it did.
It would have been a lot funnier if it was crazy glue. You know what? At least then it would have been like, alright, you're really going off the deep end with this crazy glue thing.
Hey, that's stupid of you, but at least it's in character.
Hey, that's interesting. I've never seen anyone crazy glue their eye before. And I wouldn't just stop there. I would have him do other things. I would have him put, like, a nail through through his eye, you know?
Oh.
Like, hey, what are you doing? Stop that. I'm a crazy.
No. I got nothing.
Maybe a nail's too much. Maybe a little thumbtack. A push pin.
I don't know, maybe other things like shoe polish.
or a marble.
Eventually he replaces his eye with other objects. like a golf ball.
See, I think that...
But he draws on it with a Sharpie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, you know, he makes it... Everything he puts on it, he kind of tries to make it look like an eye. Yeah. One time it's like a 9-ball from from billiards.
Yeah, other times it's a, I don't know, what's another ball? A baseball. But, it doesn't quite fit in.
He's got one really big eye.
You're all right there, Harry? Yeah, I'm fine.
Eventually, I think he starts moving on to things that just aren't even around. You know, he's got, like,
he's got a parrot, and he has a spyglass just sticking out.
I was gonna go with Jax, but, you know, a spyglass is kind of funny.
Just, all the way telescoped out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe it's collapsed, but when he's trying to look in the distance, he pulls it out.
Distance? Yeah, that's fine. I think that maybe, like...
It's for show, of course, but...
I think that maybe, like, it's a surprise thing. Like, he doesn't move it with his hand, but it's like, Harry, we found Dad's bloated corpse. What, he put a party favor in his eye?
That's the sound effect.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I don't know if it does that or if that's just like a cartoon situation.
Awooga, awooga. Yeah, that would be interesting. You know, I would watch a movie about a guy who keeps on doing weird shit like that.
Like, if we can combine like the story we came up with these odd gags with his eye, I don't know what tone this movie would be.
Well, here's the thing, like we always suggest, we'll do a regular version and then a farce version.
Oh, the farce version.
Like, man, we would have a lot of fun. Like, we don't even have to just stick things in his eye. That's stupid.
Like, I imagine throughout the movie he becomes more and more pirate-like. Like, his eye comes out and he starts putting different things in it. He starts accruing different birds.
Like, I imagine that, he puts an eye patch over his telescopic, eye. Like, you know, like it's all the way telescoped out, but he's got a really long, eye patch string.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You know, he doesn't just have a parrot on his shoulder. I imagine he's got,
those dead birds?
No. That's funny, though. A seagull, and I was thinking maybe a penguin or an owl or something like that. A bird that, you know, pirates wouldn't usually...
well, I meant those dead birds that fell out of the sky in the movie.
Yeah, no.
And,
a woodpecker.
Or that pigeon he hit. And I'm guessing it was decapitated. He just puts an eye patch over the stump.
I think I got it. It's a pelican.
That's got a big bird.
Yeah, no, he's got a big fucking pelican just sitting on his shoulder, and it kind of weighs him down a little bit. So, like, one of the arm is, like, sloped down a little bit lower than the other ones.
And his back is just coated.
And, like... and he's got a peg leg, but, the peg leg, because, like, it's on the same side of his like lower shoulder, so it's like a little bit smaller, so he's even a lower even more because of it.
I imagine his peg leg is, well, first off, his peg leg is a dinner table leg. And
I was thinking it was like a tripod from like a movie camera.
And that keeps collapsing.
Yeah.
It's not meant to endure that weight.
And it's like it's not every time he steps on it, it's like every now and again he'll boonk, boonk, son of a and it just like it's the same side as the pelican, so it just sinks even lower. Like,
well, it's every time the pelican lands on his shoulder, that's when the clips on the tripod give out and it just folds up.
He's got a mighty hump forming. And then he's got like he's got duct tape wrapped around like the tripod so that it stays up, and it works sometimes. But like after a couple of days that duct tape's losing its adhesivity.
Yeah.
And so it just collapses in, so he's got to put more on it.
Especially near the ocean.
Oh yeah. So he's got to keep on putting more on it.
And he doesn't have a hook hand as much as he does, as much as he has egg beater hands.
That was good. I actually had nothing. I was like, oh, what could we do instead of a hook?
It was either going to be egg beaters or a whisk.
I like a whisk a lot, actually.
Yeah, he has old whisk hand.
It comes up a lot in what he needs to do.
Look, say what you want about the man. He's
a great chef.
He can make a mean meringue.
Yes.
Meringue beard.
Yeah, he mixes it in his pelican's little stupid beak. It's like,
it's a living.
Oh, this is gonna be and then
it tries to fly away because it doesn't like things mixed in his beak, and he bonks it.
He clipped its wings just a little bit. Because and eventually, like, it takes him a while to find the island because, as far as he's concerned,
he's happy.
Yeah, he's got everything he wants.
And he actually finds his niche. And like his family doesn't approve because he looks like an absolute lunatic, with a kitchen and film equipment on his body. But
he's happy. Let him alone.
Yeah.
And I imagine that the conspiracy theory friend is the sanest person of all. Everything he says that's a conspiracy theory is 100% right, and it's not even a conspiracy. It's about like calculus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Sir Isaac Newton discovered that there's something called gravity that affects all of us at equal 8 point blah 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Come here, Perchy.
He's got to be the straight man if he amidst all the sea of insanity.
He has to, compared to this monster.
His friend is so crazy. Our character is so crazy that it turned a conspiracy theory nut into a sane, rational individual.
Like, he goes back to Harvard to practice law.
Like, he's like, I think I'm gonna turn my life around. He's no longer living in a tent out by the beach. Like, he's actually got he's got a nice home that he can put equity against, so that he can.
Like, I imagine the movie ends and he's in Carnegie Hall playing his violin.
And the egg beater guy, or Mr. Whisk, is I wanted to say he was playing something too.
No, he's in the rafters with a sniper rifle.
I was gonna say he's like Phantom of the Opera, where he's in the rafters, like with a mask over half his face and his eyes still telescopic out, with a periscope.
It's just a mask 12 inches from his face.
Like, you can clearly see under the face, and his friend's the only one who sees him hiding in the shadows, lurking, because he knows he's only up there to see his friend, and a single tear rolls down his face as he's playing the violin.
Like, he knows his friend is there to kill him, and this is going to be his last show.
Oh, kill him?
Yeah, the friend's crazy.
I know that. I thought that he was just there to cheer him on.
Why would he be there? No, he's only going to go. No one goes into the rafters to cheer someone on. You don't hide in the rafters to be like, "Go, friend." Like,
he wants his friend to know that he's watching over him, and enjoying his music, but he can't go into the regular crowd. He can't get tickets anymore.
No one hides in the rafters to be a good person. Except for the only person who does is the homeless lady from Home Alone 2.
And that's debatable whether or not she's a good person.
Yeah, because I have a feeling she has a few bodies that led to that.
She made up her life story.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Why are you homeless and living in the rafters? I fell in love once and he broke my heart. And?
You don't need to know the rest.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Why don't you go talk to him or see him again? Oh, I can't do that. Why not? Listen, kid, you're asking a lot of questions, don't you think?
Like, unless you want to fall down into that orchestra, you might want to stop with the questions.
Like, I think that the birds, she befriended them because, they ate the body. They made sure to get rid of the evidence.
Like, she knew awfully quick that what that bird seed would do.
Yep, and it almost happened to Marv and Harry.
Yeah. And fortunately, the chemicals that they were covered in that made the
poisoned the birds.
It was very toxic. Like,
now the birds are just lying dead around her.
Yeah, the birds are dead, but they're gonna get all kinds of cancers later in life.
That's why they didn't come back for Home Alone 3.
No. The tumor bandits.
Yeah,
We're the chemo bandits.
It's like, guys, listen, we're sorry. We're very, very sorry.
Like, we'll
make things as easy as we can for you.
The company that poisoned you said they'll settle, but you're not gonna take it with you.
Like, what are you really gonna do, guys? I mean, what are you gonna do?
If I were you, I would donate it. We'll put a wing in the hospital after you, the sticky wing.
The sticky wing. Oh, do you don't want to get sent to the sticky wing?
You don't want to go there.
They're now known as the shoelace around the neck bandits. Oh, that's too far. That is way too far. This is what the movie did to us. It made us dark.
We're gonna go down this road.
Okay.
They're the syringe full of air bandits.
They're the reason you can't have belts in prison anymore, bandits.
They're the pillow over the face bandits.
What is this? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Oh my gosh! Now it's Marv doing it to Harry. Marv.
Don't move.
And then he takes the toilet out and he throws it through the bars and he escapes.
He tries to, but the toilet sticks to his hands and takes him with it.
So he's running with this toilet, just dragging behind him out, to a freedom.
Like the doctors were not able to remove that from his hand. Like that adhesive is there indefinitely. Like, it was that or amputation.
So there's a pillow in one hand and a toilet in the other. Every time he has to remove it, it's like layers of skin that he doesn't get back.
He's almost like he's almost a Spiderman villain.
Yes,
he's like a shitty Doc Ock that, like, he had not an experiment. He had an idea on how to modify himself to do better with with his craft, but like something went wrong and now it's a part of him.
Like, you know how a lot of superheroes have villains that are like dark reflections of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, like Venom is kind of a dark reflection of Superman or Spider-Man. Well, this guy's another dark reflection of Spider-Man because he too can stick to walls and buildings. It's just that it's a little bit, a little bit harder. Every single time he can move pretty quickly up and down the walls, but he leaves his handprints and bloody handprints along the way.
Like, he's screaming the entire time.
It is a living hell for him, but, like, he's to him, the transportation is worth the pain.
Yeah, it's worth it for what it, how he can, what he can do with that.
Like, he is,
and it fills him with hate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he is so dark and angry because of this that he is brutal. He is no longer just the leaving the water running guy. Like, this man hasn't pissed in years without without squatting. So he's angry. So and the thing is like, this would be a decent battle for Spider-Man because Spider-Man punches him and his hand sticks to the guy.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Man punches him, and he just goes with him. Like, there's no give.
We are presuming that the stickiness spread to the rest of them.
Yeah, of course. It is full body stickiness.
Yeah, like it was, like something went wrong. It was a combination between the adhesive in the hand and that somehow spread to the rest of the chemicals that covered him when Kevin McAllister dumped it all on them.
Yes, I was gonna say it's like the naturally secreting oil in your body, in your skin, but no, it's the chemicals from what that and the bird lady threw on him.
Yep, like they're kind of lucky, like at least Harry is kind of lucky. No, it was Marv.
Yeah,
Marv's kind of lucky that he was electrocuted before the chemicals were dumped on him, unless he because then he'd just be on fire. Kevin McAllister will have burned a man alive.
And the beauty of it all is that this movie takes place in New York.
Yeah.
So you could easily run into Spider-Man in here.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be a stretch for him to run into Spider-Man in this universe. Like, Kevin's already gone back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin's story in this is done. We don't need Kevin anymore. Now this is Spider-Man's problem.
And I imagine Spider-Man saves Harry and Marv from this sociopathic child that's always trying to murder them.
Like, that's kind of how it starts, and then it builds like this, at first Marv is grateful for Spider-Man. He's happy that Spider-Man saved him, and he almost wants to... He actually follows Spider-Man around trying to repay the debt somehow, and it turns into a dark obsession, and then he gets the sticky powers.
Well, maybe his obsession with Spider-Man is why he covered himself with sticky stuff.
And then that led to his sticky powers, and now it's twisted into something angry and hate-filled, that his obsession with Spider-Man has caused him nothing but uncontrollable pain.
Yeah.
And so he feels that the only way to seek vengeance is to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And have him feel some of the pain that he feels.
Even though it's, not Spider-Man's
It really
fault.
isn't.
Yeah.
None of it is, but, he's a bad guy. He's a villain.
Yeah.
And
he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's succumbed to madness with his pain.
Now, I imagine if we're going to continue on with this, is that there's another villain that we add in, which is the bird lady.
Yeah.
She can control the birds, and like, that's a real problem for Spider-Man if he's trying to swing around.
I imagine she descends like an angel being carried by birds.
Yep. Like, she is bird lady.
Yeah.
And, whenever he tries to, like, hit her with his web balls, like, the birds just get in the way, And just, you ever see that video of the pitcher throwing the baseball and the bird just explodes?
Yeah.
Because that is basically what he's doing with his web balls, and the birds get in the way.
I imagine it's... Like, she's almost like Neo, but with birds. Like, she'll hold up her hands, and then all this shield of birds will form. And, like, it's almost like this telepathic... extension of her body.
And the funny thing is, this would be a tough villain for Spider-Man, because he's never had to fight someone who just can control the birds before. Like, how's he gonna fight that?
I imagine some other person, like the police are trying to get her too, because she's just wreaking havoc on New York somehow. And like one of the cops out of desperation tries to hit her with a cruiser, and the wall of birds forms, and he just stops her stops him dead. Like,
I imagine that she's kind of like Mysterio in the sense that, she's got a lot of powers or like neat things that she can do, but one good clock and that takes care of her for that.
Mysterio?
Yeah, the guy who's got the special effects power.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say she's more like Magneto with birds.
That works too, but one good clock takes it out of the action.
Well, at the end of the day, she's just an old lady.
Yeah, but it would be kind of like trying to fight bees, like someone who had 1 million bees.
Yeah.
You might, one good clock might do it, but it's gonna be a while to get to that good clock because you gotta go through bees to do it. And she's got nothing but birds. If she's got enough,
New York, nothing but birds.
If you got enough birds to stop a car dead in its tracks, I think Spider-Man's gonna have a problem. Like, he can't swing around with that. Like, he's swinging, and this bird just comes by and just snips his web, and every time he tries to get it out, like, it's just getting in the way. Like, he falls, and then like, that's it. He's hurt,
and like he's reluctant, but he has to go and find the only thing that can match the power of the bird lady, which is the Rat King. The Rat King.
Oh,
of
now
New
we're
York.
introducing the turtles into this.
Is there a Rat King?
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Rat Master.
Oh, no. It's just a guy who has the same powers as her, but with rats. And I don't know who would be, I don't know who would be more powerful because
she's got the power of flight.
She does have the power of flight, but he has the power of pestilence.
She's got rats with wings.
Yeah, she has rats with wings, but he has the thing that brought down Europe.
That's true. Like, I imagine Spider-Man, he doesn't just find the Rat King, he makes a Rat King to counter it, and
oh, that's messed up. Like,
he creates a villain.
Like, not only that, he had to get another villain to create the villain. Like, he had to team up with Doc Ock, or he had to team up with Harry Osborn.
Okay.
Or his
Norman
dad,
Osborn,
Norman Osborn in Oscorp to make this Rat King.
And it's like it's something that he really hated doing, and it almost kind of pushes him into villain territory a little bit.
I imagine it's in this phase of duality.
Yeah.
He's still he's recovered from being the Green Goblin, but he still has that duality within him, and Peter Parker.
He exploits it,
and he's not really a good person.
Yeah, like I said, it really makes Peter out to be kind of a little villainous,
a little bit of a shit.
And
I'm not comfortable with this, even for me.
Yeah, well, we really need to do is to stop this. So the ends justify the means.
Okay.
And all right, you sold me. He's like mixing chemicals, and I imagine
it's a plucky little song. Bloom, 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 bloom.
And he's like, he's clicking on like little stopwatches. There's lasers going there. Then there's a rat running through a maze.
Yeah, inserting pipettes of liquid into the rat.
And then there's he's a swarm of rats chasing him.
And then all the dead rats going into the incinerator, the failed rats.
I imagine they're roasting on a spit. And then at the end of the day, the rats don't do anything. Like the rat lady and the rat king and the pigeon lady, they kind of team up and they bring plague upon plague to New York, and Spider-Man loses. Yeah.
New York or Manhattan has to be walled off, like in Return to New York.
That's perfect. I was gonna say they drop a dome on him, like in The Simpsons, but that's funny too. And in the middle of this, imagine the rats and the pigeons swarm on Marv, who's sticky and can't get rid of him. He screams like he does in Home Alone 2 when the birds are circling him.
Oh, Marv becomes the Rat King by accident because they stick to him.
Okay, that'll work.
They're in the middle of, they're just about to call quits. On making the Rat King because it's at the end of the day a stupid idea, and then Marv kind of finds it like, I found you. I don't know how to do his voice.
That's fine.
But he breaks in and
I found you now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that spooks the rats, and they all jump to bite him, and
the chemicals work for him.
They stick to him, and Norman Osborn's like, all right, let's see what we can do with this.
I imagine he has a locomotive power where he can actually go faster than trains because of the rats. Just
I imagine there's a lot of times where Marv will just lay down and have the rats carry him.
Just lazy.
Yeah.
I imagine I imagine a little bit different. The rats swarm on him, and it's the skeleton with the goatee. That's it.
That, or he's like the Sandman with rats.
Ooh.
He can make himself a giant rat being.
He's almost like liquid rat.
Yeah, he's a T-1000 made of rats.
Yeah. And that's how New York falls.
By not by King Kong, not by shitty CGI Godzilla.
Yeah. Just by rats. Actually, now we think about it, I would actually really like to see the fight between this liquid rat king and Pigeon Lady, because now that we mentioned it's a liquid rat kind of thing, that he can form a wall of rats and like everything.
Yeah.
Like now I think there would be an even match between him and the Pigeon Lady.
Because even though Liquid Rat Man he's pretty big. Like there's a Liquid Rat Man the size of a building is a lot of mass.
Yeah, like and so like it's definitely an even match. It's almost like a Freddy versus Jason thing.
Yeah,
where it's like these are two almost forces of elemental nature fighting each other.
And a rat is like, even if she does the same thing, which she can't because she's not sticky. Even if she does the same thing, a rat is much more massive than a bird.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
see, he's got the power of mass on his side.
Yeah.
She's got the power of flight.
Like, he's more massive, but she's more dexterous.
Yes, and it would actually be a really even match.
And it would smell awful.
Oh yeah,
it would be the smelliest fight since
King Kong versus Fartzilla.
Yeah. And like after that, New York would not be worth saving.
I'm gonna say, like, before these guys even finished their fight, that's when Powers Booth from the Avengers is like, "All right, we're nuking the city," and Tony Stark doesn't try to stop it this time.
He doesn't take the nuke through the portal.
No, he's actually steering it towards.
Yeah, right, it's there we go. That should center it really good now.
Yeah, I think we got it. So, the Block Island sound.
Like unless you're prepared to make fun of the movie and really tear it apart like we did, it's not really worth your time. It's kind of generic and didn't really capture any imagination.
Yeah, it was basically like Britton said. Oh, what if we aliens fish for humans, and they never got past that one basic idea. It'd be like saying, what if people wore shoes on their hands, and then they made a whole movie about that. So anyway, not very good. I wouldn't recommend it.
Alright.
That's it for us. Take it easy now.
Toodaloo.
That'll hold a little SOPs.